Welcome to one and all present here to this episode in the guest lecture series C2C, Campus to Corporate. In today's session, we'll dive into the role of full stack developer. We have Mr. Samar Khan with us today, who's a full stack developer and a data scientist and is currently working with Microsoft. Today, he'll be sharing with us his experience working as a full stack developer. It's a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you.
So there seems to be a lot of questions, a number of questions ahead. So without any further ado, let's go ahead, sir.
Thank you for the wonderful intro, Abhinandan. So, getting into the guest lecture, as many say, one's own experience provides a better insight about anything to others. So, how would you actually describe your experience in this sector till now?
Okay, so I would just give a background. Like I'm just a VIT. I graduated from VIT in 2016, and it's been 5 years. Like I'm in this industry. So if you look for the experience, like I have worked both as a full stack developer as well as I've been working for past 2 years as a data engineer also. So what I believe is like compared to full stack developer and data engineer role, if I compare, I find data engineer role to be more challenging and more full of learning. I understand like full stack developer kind of like looks good and it kinds of fancy, but if I look at the learning and the challenging perspective, I find data engineering role to be more challenging basically, where it involves a lot of learning. Full stack development, it's fun, but the technology keeps changing a lot and you need to be updated with that technology. The UI changed from JavaScript to Angular to React, right? And the same goes with the backend also. But the database, they have the same principles, but still like technology changes there, but not as much, if I would say, as compared to full stack role, basically. So yeah, that's the thing.
So yes, so you've now actually spoken about your experience and the experience needed for this one, for the role. So now
Okay,
could you
for
tell us about yes, sir. So could you now
yeah.
tell us about your journey from the full stack developer to the lead, sir?
Okay, so basically, what I would say is like, so if you look at the full stack developer, so see development, see, I think nowadays people focus on like a lot that, okay, I need to be a full stack developer or I need to be a data, but the idea should not be that. The idea should be how to become a better developer, right? That's what the idea should be. Because when you go and work, right, it won't depend on, okay, if you know this technology, if you know that technology won't matter because if you see, right, like the word in last 10 years the technology has evolved at a very fast pace. Every day new things are coming up. So what I have learned in all these years is that it's not about how good you are in a technology, and it's not about being a master of one. You don't have to be a master of one. You don't have to be very expert in Java. You don't have to be very expert in basically I would say like .NET, or you don't have to be very expert in UI. You have to be like jack of all trades if you want to be in this technology. They call it, right, like jack of all trades is basically master of none, but often it can be sometimes it can be better than master of one. So that's the idea basically, right? You need to have a knowledge if you want to work in this industry. If you want to grow, you need to have little bit knowledge of all the things rather than be going into one core that no, I want to become a data scientist or I want to become a data engineer. Nothing of that sort. I also started full stack developer. Now I got the work of the data. I started doing and learning that, right? I don't have any lot of experience, but once I read about it, software engineering principles remain the same. So you should have a very strong concept or very basic knowledge of software engineering principle. That's what actually matters basically. So yeah, actually I know that it's not easy, and it's I think a lot of overwhelming because we see a lot of things. Oh my God, this guy has skills in 10 technology, this guy knows 20, and how will I learn? But it's not the case. The underlying principles remain the same, right? Like one plus one is kind of two. You can go ahead and use this for solving either a reasoning problem, or you can go till solving an integration or differentiation also, right? So, but the basic principles remain same, and that's where I think your focus should be basically. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hearing about how you started as a full stack developer and becoming a lead uh, makes us think, and a lot of different questions come into our mind. So, what did you actually learn as a fresher when you first joined the company that made you get here?
Okay, so there is a very good saying. They say that you are whom you work with, right? So when I joined as a fresher, like I got a chance to work with very great developers. I had a team who sits in London, and they were good developers. And I started slowly, like learning with them and understanding. And they were the people with very great skills, and I would say like very, what I would say, like people with very strict ideology, I would say, right? But that might not be the case, right? I can say someone can be lucky and someone can be not lucky. He might not get a chance to work with Git, but it's all about like whether you have a learning attitude or not. That's basically matters, right? There were some cases in which I was stuck in a problem on 3 days, but then I went ahead and saw that on YouTube, few videos, 10-15 minutes, and I was able to find that solution, right? So you are saying, right, that journey from fresher to, as a fresher in the beginning, I was given to just fix some simple CSS on few of the websites, right? And right now my task is to like design, development, implementation, how to do testing, all these things, right? So always the person's idea should be to look at the big picture, that okay, what I'm trying to build, not just that okay, I can right now hire anyone and I will teach them JavaScript and they will be able to write 10 lines of code in it, right? Writing a code is not a problem, but you should understand the whole picture, that what I am trying to build, right? So if I give you so that's how your attitude should be, basically, that okay, what I need to build, what are the components that I need. I tell you the value of a person, tell me who has a value. If tell you to build a machine, right, and you are just a person with a screwdriver who is just fixing the nuts, right, and I'm the person who is supposed deciding that okay, in this machine these components are needed, these, so who will have more value? Is the person who is just fixing the screw, or the person who is deciding the right? So that's the idea, basically. Always have learning attitude. That doesn't mean that every day you need to learn. No, I'm not saying no one will do that. Everyone gets tired of studies after some point, right? But the idea should be that when it comes to you, like suppose new work came to you, right? That time you should be interested that okay, first I study and then I start working, and not care about small things like whether I want to get promoted, whether I get a good hike. Those things are very short term goals, and they won't make you feel better also once you achieve them. But learning something new will always make you feel that okay, right now I learned enough, I can have 10 jobs, right? So tell me which is better, you working to find okay, I want to work in this company, I want to, or you being skilled and five companies coming to you and saying no, can you work with me, can you work with me? Tell me which one will make you feel happier from the inside, right? That's the real.
Obviously, them choosing us.
Yes, yes. So you should have that attitude that if I am good, right, then let them not take me, reject me. Wherever I will work, I will learn. The idea is to accept what coming to us, not about like feeling disheartened that okay, I couldn't go into Microsoft, or I couldn't go into Google, or I couldn't go into the, no, that attitude will always make you regret. So that's the thing basically. Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope
That's
it,
actually a yes, sir. That's actually a wonderful insight, actually,
yeah.
by you. So now let's talk about when you first join a company, sir. So how long did it take to get comfortable with the work while joining as a fresher, sir?
Okay, so basically it takes around like, it will take you around 3 months. 3 months, I think, is the standard time in which you will be able to understand the company, you will be able to understand the people, and you will be able to understand the process, like how things work and how should be able to manage. Usually, some of the companies have that probation period also of 3 months or 6 months. It's only because of that that it takes time for you to decide that okay, you like the things, you want to stay, or if they don't like you, they can kick you out, kind of that. So that's the thing, basically. 3 months, I think, is a decent time in which you will be able to understand and you will be able to pick up. And after 3 months, responsibilities start increasing. Till 3 months, they will treat you very nicely, but after that, they will now expect back from you. Yeah.
So it's good to know that 3 months is not, too long or too short,
Yeah.
because many have misconceptions about how much time it would take to get habituated to the job or company. So now that you come past from that stage and you're a team lead and many people come, like you manage many people, how much of a difference does it make when you work with a UZ and a PZ student?
You mean undergraduate and postgraduate student,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, basically, like, actually, I cannot say that much because I don't know like what. because I don't have any PG student yet. I have only worked with undergraduate student. But what I would say, like people who are coming new and the freshers who are joining with me, and they are really pretty smart, like smarter than we were. We were like dumb. So they are pretty smart. They know a lot of things, and they are like quite knowledgeable, and they have done projects and all. Like in college and all, I've seen they have done full project. Like we just used to make run one C file, and we used to feel happy that okay, my program is working. So I think that makes a difference. Like they are very motivated. So yeah, like I won't be able to answer your question, but
Okay,
I think that I find those students who are coming, they are like really good in what they are doing. Yeah.
they're up to date.
Yes, they are up to date and they are technically strong, basically stronger than how we were, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So in the previously you've actually told about your experience as a fresher in the company. So now could you tell us about your experience while transitioning from one company to another company, sir?
Okay, yeah. So this is something that I think you guys really need to know, and this will be very, very helpful. Right. So
Sure, sir, sure,
it
sir.
depends on yeah, it depends on two things basically. Always remember it will only depend on two things, right? What is the motivation for first thing is that what is the motivation for you that you want to change the company? That you should know in your heart whether I got old, I have learned enough, I want to move, or I want to go for money, right? I'm not getting decent money, work is good. But what happens is like people always think that no, like I would say as a fresher, like don't take me wrong, but I'm saying like as a fresher, you should, I think 3 to 4 years is the time, and if that you should be working with the company, and then you should try to change. Like that is the max, I would say. And why I am saying is that because in the early years of your career, you need the change of environment, you need the change of culture, and you should not be afraid that okay, I have completed 3 years now, I know this technology, now it will be new technology, nothing like that. And let me tell you, if you are stuck in one place for 4 or 5 years, then it will become very, very difficult for you to change. So I'm saying the experience, if you talk about the experience, right? Like experience is nothing. Like I'll just go start working there, work will come and I'll just work on that, right? In the beginning, I won't like it, right? It's the same experience that you coming from your home to your college or you going to a new place, right? It's the same experience. It takes time to adjust. But the reason I would say is like it's more about the process which is interesting. Because what will happen is like you will have multiple offers or you might get a job from company, and then you will be thinking a lot of things, whether the work will be good, whether I will like the location, so many factors will come in. But you should know from your head that why you want to change, whether it's money or whether you want to learn something or whether it's some other reason like you want to stay close to your family. But till I think more than 3 or 4 years, I don't think anyone should stay in the beginning. I know a lot of company might come and kill me, but right, like you should, because I think that in the beginning stage is the time when you can take risk, right? Why
Yeah.
would you want to be go in the beginning and work for Google and then if for 15 years you want to work for Google only? Why you want to do that, right? Start from a small or any other company, work 3 years, work 5 years, 8 years, 10 years down the line, you will be working for a great company. So that people who work at the same place only, right? They will always be consistent. They will not have as much learning as the person who has come from 2 or 3 companies with learning different domains and different kind of work culture, right? They will be more adjustable, they will be more confident. So yeah, that's the case basically.
So, did you actually face the same things when you actually shifted to the other company, or uh, did they take note of your experience and accept you easily, or did it
Yeah.
take some time?
Yeah. So basically, the thing is like when I tried to switch, like that's how the market is. I'll tell you about the Indian market. It's very important that you guys listen is carefully. Like money matters based on the experience, right? If you are a 3 years
Yeah.
experience, so in the company, if you are 3 years experience, you are asking for 25 lakh, 30 lakh. When you switch, right, they might not give you. As a fresher, they might hire you and give you. But when you switch, right, there is a market standard. Only few companies will pay you that much, right? So the only thing, so the question here comes is like whether you want to go for that company or you like suppose you started looking, right? You started looking, you started preparing for interviews. So how interview works is like, after fifth interview, you just give five interviews, you note down all the questions, sixth interview you will be able to clear. So that's how interview process works. Its questions are, it's a very fixed syllabus, right? But the only problem comes is like experience and money. Here doesn't matter how skilled you are, Aditya Mendan. If you are very, very skilled, no one is as skilled as you in India. If you are 2 years experience, they won't give you the salary. Doesn't matter how much you are experienced. The salary comes along with the experience only. So you don't have to feel disheartened. Like my salary was, when I joined, it was little more. And when I was looking in Mumbai, like lot of companies, they just took all the interviews, 4 5 companies, and they said, no, we cannot give you this much salary, even though they clear the interview. So that's the problem, not with you, right? You are good, you are skilled. The problem is with the market. And the next thing which matters when switching company is the location. Location matters a lot. If you are in Mumbai, for 2 or 3 years experience, you might not get more than 10 lakhs, but you are in Bangalore and Hyderabad, you might get 15 lakhs. So in company switching, the most important thing is the location. Doesn't matter your skills, doesn't matter your thing. Being at that location, suppose right now, if you want a job in Dubai or Europe, right? If you go there and look for a job, your chances of getting a job increases a lot more time rather than you looking for it. So these two things matter: your experience and location. Those two things matter a lot because they don't want to hire. So campus placements are easy, companies come to you, right?
Yeah.
But after that, the real struggle is the play switching the job after getting placed. That is where real struggle come, and that is where you would see the challenges there. Like people are not ready to offer you that much money because you're already getting enough. Some people are saying you are not skilled that much. Some people are saying no, we cannot offer you this much because Mumbai the pay scale is less, or in Noida or Jaipur pay scale is less, right? So that's the thing basically. Yeah.
So now that we have looked into some of the generic questions, let us go more into the details about the sector. So, what kind of works does a full stack engineer actually do technically?
Okay, so basically any software or any, so there are two types of softwares, right? One is Win desktop applications, right? Like desktop
Yeah.
applications are what which you use in your computer, Microsoft Word, Paint, all these things, right? They don't need internet. Simple, right? The others are web applications. What are web applications? You have an app, right? SDFC Bank app, any app, PUBG app, anything, or browser you're using, right? So basically, in the web applications, there are three components. One is backend, one is first is database, second one is backend, third is front end. Okay, a full stack developer means that he has command on all three things. He has command on database also, he can design the backend also, and he can design the front end also. So if I give you an example, right, in a restaurant, right, the kitchen is the database. Okay, the kitchen is the database. And then backend are, you can say, waiters and managers who are deciding that what should be picked from the database, right? And the restaurants and the customers, they are the front end, right? So backend decides that okay, from the database, which thing goes to which table. Basically, what should come from the database and where it should come to the front end. So a person having experience in all three things, database, backend, and front end, is called full stack engineer. Now, database has multiple technologies: SQL database, IBM Cosmos, right? Same goes with backend. Backend has multiple technologies: C Sharp, Java, Python, .NET, same thing, right? Same goes with front end. Front end also has. So if you have a command on one language of each basically domain, one in database, one in backend, and one in front end, you are called as full stack developer.
That was really insightful.
Yeah, that's basically right. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes, sir. So now you've actually told us about what a full stack developer does and the different subprofiles which are present here in the domain. So could you tell us on which profiles have you worked in, sir, and your experience in working in those profiles?
Profiles as in, so I have worked as a full stack developer. Like you can't be a full stack developer from the beginning, right? So first you
Yes.
have to be basic knowledge of one technology. Then once you start working, they will give you work on the other technology, little bit back end. Suppose you are doing front end, they gave you some work. Okay, can you do this in the back end? Then you start learning back end, right? Then after that, they will give you some work of database. So that's how you evolve and become like full stack developer, right? So
So
sorry,
you
like I
actually worked in all three step
yeah
by step, right?
yeah
So
step by step, but after some time it will be all three together.
yeah, oh, okay,
Yeah, so
that's
after
good
some
to
time
know.
it will be all three together. Like a project will be given in which you need to design the database also, you need to design the backend also, you need to design the front end also. And apart from that, there is one more component that comes in full stack development is kind of, they call it DevOps. I don't know if you guys are
Yeah,
might
yeah.
have
Yes, yes,
DevOps.
sir, we've heard it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So DevOps is about deployment, like how now you created this project, right? You have a website running. Now, how will you make sure it's available to the customers, right? How will you deploy the components to the server? So that also you should have a little bit knowledge of. Yeah. So
So
by working only, like I got that work and I started doing, then I started learning, then again started doing. So that's how eventually I got the knowledge of all these things. So that's what the things is, right? Like jack of all trades but master of none. So that's what is basically development is all about these days. Yeah.
so now that you advanced to a data engineer, how different it is from the full stack engineer actually?
It's very different. Yeah, but I might be able to explain you, but I think you guys won't be able to understand it. So that's what.
Okay,
So yeah, so that I can do, but I think it's technical things, and you guys are easy, so it will be very technical. So that's what. But
okay, okay.
it's more challenging, I would say. And the problem with the data is that backend and front end you can code and you can see the flow and you can debug the code. But in database, how do you do the debugging? Right. So that's where it becomes kind of challenging that okay, 1 lakh records came from here, right? Some changes happened to 1 lakh records and then they went there. So how will you track that what was the value? Suppose in a table one record is there, how will you track what was the value 10 minutes before? Now this value became this and why it changed, right? Back end and front end you can put a debugger and debug, so that it becomes little challenging. So yeah.
So how are you actually able to adapt to this change and overcome the challenges?
Yeah, that like it just happens automatically. Like I don't think there is any magic to it. Like once you start
Since
learning,
you're jack of all trades, does that make it easy when you advance it?
yeah. That's the thing basically, right? Like if I would be working on one of the technology for 3 years, just one of the technology, and then data engineer would have given, it would have been very difficult for me, right? But because I worked on different things, I understand the whole picture. So that's where it made a difference. Yeah. So it came automatically, but yeah, that was really helpful. The point you pointed out. Yeah.
We discussed it until now, like what a full stack engineer does after getting the role, right? So, to actually get the role, what do you think are the main prerequisites for those who want to get the full stack developer role?
Yeah, so I would say if you want to be a full stack developer role, right, you should have at least you should make 2 3 websites in which you should make the whole tables design, create a backend, and also create a front end. Now in the backend there are two technologies you can go with. Either you can go with .NET, which is a Microsoft product, or you can go with Java, right? So you should be able to design the whole website and you should be able to tell each line of code written in there. Maybe it's a very simple website. Suppose having the list of all the students, right? A person should be able to search by roll number. He should be able to update the details of the students, or he should be able to delete a student, right? So this kind of simple website, if you're designing the backend, if you're designing the front end, and if you're designing the database, that means that you are good enough to start working for that role. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like look like a real website. No, website graphics, pictures, they are not required. Just it should the functionality which matters basically. So you need to choose a language. If you want to choose, you can choose SQL is what I would say. In database you must know everyone, whether he wants to be a full stack developer or he wants to doesn't want to be, or if he wants to be in IT, he must know SQL. Like if he doesn't know SQL, then it will be a very big challenge for him. SQL is like must, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you should.
good to know. I'm sure
Yeah,
that this will help many people who are trying to get into that role.
yeah. You should have like very good knowledge of SQL, and then it will become very easy for you to scale to backend and front end. But SQL is kind of must. Like right now, I don't think anyone would be able to survive if he doesn't know SQL.
Yes, so we've actually now talked about being a full stack developer it requires many skills. So being basically being a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since it requires many skills, is it always a process of learning always a process of learning and then working?
No, no, that's not the case basically, right? So I would say it's a process of learning for some time and then just practically working on it. Basically, suppose today I teach you how to solve a differentiation or integration, right? Once you learn, then you might be able to solve six problems out of 10 or five problems, but that's okay. But it's about that giving some time to it, like 2, 3 months learning aggressively, and then okay, getting some practical work and doing and keep on doing that. And then 1 year, 2 years down the line, once you think that okay, no, now I feel little outdated, then again going back and studying 2, 3 months, right? And our generation is like that, ki jab tak someone like takes a stick and like run behind it, we don't study, right? So that's the thing basically. So you should have some motivation which will keep you going, learning for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, how long you want, and then you can chill around, just work on it, or like try giving interviews, and if you get a job, just work on it, don't worry about learning and all, you will be able to do. But maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, when you want to change, that time you again have to go back and study. So it's kind of a process, but it's kind of intermittent, like you don't have to do it every day, but you have to do maybe once a year or once in 2 years kind of. Yeah. So it's same like
Yes,
that, right? Like you prepared for AI triple E, you worked hard, right? After that, 3 years you chilled, right? Right? 3 years you are
yes,
chilling,
yes.
attending lectures, right? Now again, when you want to job, you need to work hard. And once you get a job, then again you enjoy for 2, 3 years. It's like that.
So yes, yes. So you've actually done a research intern, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before joining the corporate world.
Yeah, yeah.
So could you tell us the difference between working as a research intern and working as a developer
Okay.
So
in a
how it
corporate?
actually motivated you to apply for that specific role, or how it contributed to you while appearing for the job?
Yes,
If you
sir.
can be more specific.
Okay, so I would say like when it comes to learning, right? Like when I worked as a research intern, it's mostly the exposure and the working with different people and understanding, okay, they gave me some requirement and then I worked on it, right? While it is very, I think it was very different, or it was very special for me during my college, right? Because in college, what we do, right? We just study, learn, pass. Last night we study all the PPTs, and next day we just like cuff it up and get marks, right? So that's how college is about. But I think that where I understood that okay, how projects work or what the work is, right? See, if someone who has never worked in his life, he first thing he will be having his mind like काम क्या करते होंगे, है ना? Like what work they will be doing, right? So that I understood there. And I tell you, like, there are two things you should not count on. Like, you should not think when you go for an interview, right? Your certifications don't matter. Your anything which you have done for and all these things, they don't look at that. These things only help you to make you a better person, make you more presentable. You learn things, but they don't, no one gonna look and say that, okay, you have done certification, so I'm selecting you. So those things won't matter. The only thing that will matter is that how much knowledge you have and how much skilled you are in those things, right? Even if you don't have a certification, you have not done any internship, nothing like that, you are able to answer the question someone is asking, you are selected. Done. That's how it is. And if there is a person who has done 10 certifications, 5 internship and all, but he's sitting in front of me, he's not able to answer the question, he will never get selected. It's as simple as that.
So since you're from the CSC department, it's more than a given that you would obviously go into the software field. But is there any particular thing that inspired you or made you that I should apply for this specific role? I should become a full stack developer.
No,
Is
no,
there
no.
anything? No.
No, I didn't even know there was a full stack developer role itself. I just wanted a job and some salary, that's all. But once I started working, I got to know that okay, there are things like full stack developer, there are things like man stack developer, there are things like that, right? Once you get into industry, then only you get to know, right? In college, we just used to think, okay, they come, they hire people, and they give us salary, and that's all basically. Yeah, like I just wanted. So I told you, right? One logic, right? It's not about like really wanting something. It's about that accepting what is given to you. right? So that's the basic idea, right? That right now you don't need to worry that okay, I want to be a full stack or I want to be engineer. No, right now you have to worry that okay, if I want to learn SQL, I should know enough SQL. If I want to learn Angular, I should know Angular, that if someone asks, I should be able to answer. That's all you need to do. You don't need to worry that whether if I get into full stack, whether I will get into Microsoft, whether I become data engineer. No, those things will eventually happen to you, basically. Yeah.
But now we
Right.
feel that through this initiative and you being here, people will actually know that there is such a thing without actually getting into the corporate. And
Yeah.
it might inspire someone. Let's hope that it might inspire someone.
Yeah, yeah. So there is one story, right? Like one guy dreams is like he will buy an egg, and then one hen will come out of it, and that hen will get 10 more eggs, and from that 10 more eggs, he will get 10 more hens, then he will open a poultry farm, right? He used to think like that. It's like daydreamers, right? So the idea is not that, right? That okay, some people they haven't even got a job and they are thinking, okay, 6 months or 1 year down the line, I will change. Okay. Or they are thinking, no, 2 years after they are in college, but they are thinking, okay, 2 years after I do the job, I will go for masters, right? But these are, I would say, useless thoughts because you don't know, right? 2 years later, what will be your thinking, where you will be, or how your situations will be in your family, or how things were, right? So, no, the idea is to think of the first step, do that, and then think about the second step. Don't think that, okay, first I will do this, second I will, second should not be there. First should be there, then once you do first, then think about the second. I hope you guys able to like
Yeah,
get me what I'm trying to say, right? Like they are not thinking, no, first I learn SQL, then I become full stack. No, no need to worry about it. First thing, first I need to learn SQL. That once I will learn SQL, then I will think what I need to learn next, right? So
yeah.
that's the basic idea, yeah.
So
So
focus on the
just went with
task
the
at
flow, sir.
hand.
Yeah, one thing at a time, basically, right?
Yeah.
Not building a poultry farm from one egg, like in their mind, right? It's like that. Yeah.
It's good
Because
to
you
have
don't,
planning, but we should focus on the task at the
yeah,
hand.
yeah. Like
Then things will
planning.
automatically go.
Yeah, like planning should be long term. That okay, 3 years down the line, I have to be a software engineer, good software engineer, earning good salary, working in a good company, right? What is the first step for this? Learn technology,
Yeah.
learn SQL. Simple, right? Because you don't know 1 year down the line what your thought will be,
Yeah.
right? But you know that okay, 2, 3 years, 5 years, I want to be a software engineer. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a pilot. I want to be a software. So that is basically the goal. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So now let's have an interactive session, sir.
Yeah,
Where
sure.
We'll
like you,
see. We'll see if
yes,
anyone from the audience have actually any questions. So if so, we'll try to ask them.
yes,
Sure.
sir. Sir, yes, sir. So is full stack better than back end or front end alone, sir?
Of course, it's better. No one right now told you, right, that no one wants you to be master of one. Right now, in software development, you have to be jack of all trades. Now, the skills which are required is cross-functional skills. You should know little bit of everything. That time has gone when someone wants a Java developer with 15 years, 20-year experience. That time has gone. Now people want that you should know little because so many tools have come in, so many things have come in that things are automated already, right? You should only know what to pick up and where to put, basically, right? That time they required those people because technology was very old, right? People have to write hundreds of thousands of code for even a small thing, but now technology has changed. With one click you can just put all the code, so it's like that, right? So yeah, that's why. So earlier
So
for writing and logging, people used to write 50, 10, 20 files. Now it's coming as inbuilt, right? So that's why
yes, yes,
changes there.
yes, yes.
So what is the scope for full stack engineering domain in the near future, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I would say like yeah, scope is huge. Like you will have lot of opportunities, and the good part is that once you will become a full stack or developer, or once you will try that, right? Eventually, suppose you are trying to be a full stack. and it's here, right? But while trying to be that, you will land somewhere here also. Then also you will be at least good enough and having a knowledge in two, three technologies which will serve you well, basically, right? So if you're aiming till here, even if you land up here also, like you all aim for IT, but still you are in IT, right? So that's how things are, right? That you will end up at a good place. You won't end up at that you won't have anything. That's the thing, basically. Yeah, and it has a lot of scope, and you yourself, see, don't worry, you yourself will be skilled enough that people will hire you. You don't have to wait for someone that, okay, please take me or something like that. No, people will come.
Yes, sir.
If anyone
So,
wants, yeah, if anyone wants to learn SQL really, and I think all EC guys should learn, there's a very good video by Kud Venkat on YouTube, and there is no better videos than that. And if anyone wants to learn, they can refer it. I'll just mention in the chat the channel link.
So thank you for the reference, sir.
Yeah, Kud Venkat. One of the best videos, 20 or 30 videos if you watch in 1 month, you will be expert in SQL.
so name is Good Venkat.
The name is Kud Venkat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So this one's a more general question. Yes, sir. So how was the pandemic basically? We've had a pandemic for 2 years basically. So how has it affected the employees' work life, sir?
Yeah, so I would
Or
say
your
it
work
has,
life in general, sir?
yeah, I would say it has increased our work. Like that time, once I used to like, so I never used to have laptop, right? Like in some companies, they ask you to give you laptop, but in some companies, they don't give you laptop. Which option is better? The one where they don't give you laptop. Because once you are in office, you work and then you go home, right? Then no one gonna disturb you, right? But once they give you laptop, they will be pinging you at night or in the morning because they know you have a laptop. So never ask for laptop. Like earlier, now, now like they are like right now. I think the situation. So there are two things. Like everything has a pros and a cons, right? So the pro part is that I'm getting to stay with my family because I've been away for quite long. For almost 10 years, I've been away. Like I was in a hostel also in school, and I'm saving money. I'm not paying any rent, anything like that. I'm staying close. So this is the pro. And work-wise also, I'm doing good. The con for this is that in office I used to interact with people and I used to learn with them, and it used to be a more interactive session, and you used to have design discussions, all those things, and that used to make us mind grow, and it used to make us like feel better about ourselves, right? But that's not happening here. Like if but as I say, right, if there is no foundation to learn, if I want to learn, I can open a YouTube channel and I can learn, right? So I think that working from home is good, and I would say like now companies will adopt to it because they have a lot of benefits also. But yeah, like I think there are some cons in terms of learning because your personality development won't happen. Because you won't be able to go into meetings, you won't be able to meet people, you won't be able to know things, right? See, you came this far from your hometown to learn and to achieve something, right? So now you should go back there once you have achieved something. That's the thing, basically,
Yes.
right? So that part won't happen while sitting at home. Your professional development won't happen while working from home. Yeah. And you meet with people, you get to know 10 new other things, right? That awareness and that exposure is not there at working from home, basically.
So the team bonding does go at a significantly slow rate due to this pandemic.
Yes, and your personal development also goes
Yeah.
very slow, and I think it kind of a, like a you just go start going back kind of thing, like rather than going up, right? It's just like you are doing things, you are learning, but if it continues for a longer term, then it will not be good for us, basically, right? As a career wise, it won't be good.
But since it's become the new normal, I guess even people will slowly get habituated and we can turn back things once again.
Yeah. So that's what. So I think no. So I think now companies will start calling after
Yeah.
some time. They will start calling people, and this won't go forever. Means it has. It will. They will make a hybrid model in which you can come maybe 10, 15 days, and then 10 days work from home. But they will not be the case that no, you can work from home permanently. That companies can't do because it won't help them. They are like it will be a problem for them in coming days, basically.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
So we have a question that does Kubernetes come under full stack?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, Kubernetes, you can learn. It's not like a very vast or big thing to learn. It's just a small component, like you just create containers and deploy. So you can learn if you want, but yeah, like it's not a category, right? Full stack means that you should know kind of, you can know as many technology as you want, right? So Kubernetes come mostly in the deployment and container service. So if you have an idea, it's well and good, and if you don't know also, it's okay. Like of course now it's like saying like I've studied like 6 books, and if seventh book is like a good, so I don't, like it depends on you, like, yeah. But yeah, don't get overwhelmed, start from small. That's what I'm trying to say. Start from small and then take it. Yeah.
Yes, so after the essentials, basically,
Sorry.
Kubernetes. So after
Sorry.
the essentials, we can learn.
Yeah, after the essential, it's a kind of added value to it. That's all basically. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Added value.
So, is there any situation in your work life that you feel that you could have done better?
Yeah, I don't think so, actually. Honestly, I would say I think that I have done very well enough compared to where I come from and what my aspirations were. So I used to think, okay, maybe if I land a job also, I think that would be enough. And now, like, I'm working here. So I don't think actually like there was any decision which I regret, or I don't think that if I could have done better. I think I have done well enough compared to my peers, or compared to the my friends, or compared to the place where I belong. I think like it's good. Yeah. And I think that's what the attitude you guys should also have, I would say, because like rather than I would say not crying for something you didn't get, you accept what you got and appreciate it. Basically, that values that matters a lot. It's the attitude of a person that takes them to ask. It's never the whether someone is skilled or he has a lot of money or all those things and all. It's the attitude a lot. So yeah, that's the thing basically. Yeah, like if you regret that, okay, I got 99, I could have got 100, right? These are like this. I think I have good enough. Like in college also, I got a chance to do internship abroad, and in like I got a chance to work in one of the top private colleges. I couldn't go into IT, but that's fine, right? VIT served me pretty well, right? So I don't think like there is a regret there. Basically, during college placements, also my friends got into one of the top most companies. I got into normal company with normal skill, but I don't regret because in that company I got to learn a lot more than compared to those top companies. So why should I regret, right? So yeah, basically.
It is indeed rare to see people who do not have much regrets and such optimism these days. So it's great to know.
Yeah, that's what, because I think that whatever is there, whatever I have got, it has worked in my benefit only. Basically, that's what I have realized. Like it have always worked in my benefit only. So yeah, that's good.
So, any suggestions for UG students to help us in our time as freshers?
Like okay, so you want to, so you guys are EC guys, but you want to guys want to go in software industry, that way you want a suggestion, or you
Yeah,
want like,
for the guys who
Yes,
want to
yes,
go into the software.
okay, you want to go in the software, right? So I would say basically, so there are three things that I can tell you which will help you to get a job. Okay. One thing is that whatever you learn, okay, make a note, like create a notebook, like we used to go in school and college, you know, create a 100 or 200 page notes, okay, whatever technology you learn, create a note, keep it with you. Once you feel that, okay, now I have learned enough, or like now I know decent, I have good technology skills, right? Apply as many companies as possible, create a LinkedIn profile, apply as many companies follow. Don't feel disheartened. Apply 50 companies every day. Go and sit and apply. Right? That's all. And then that notebook, whichever interview you give, right? Come back, whichever questions you couldn't answer, add them in the notes, study them then. After fifth interview, sixth interview, you will be able to clear that I can give you in written right now. That's how interview is, right? And 200 pages notes, I don't think it's a lot for a student. I think 200 is nothing. You can always make. And what I used to do is like I just made a notebook. It's called was a Grantha Bible for me, and I made it. And whichever interview I used to go, like suppose I have interview, one, I used to just turn the pages, go. Then again there's one next week another interview. So at the end it kind of became a bible for me, and I gave it to like 5 6 guys as a photocopy, and they also changed and switch job in next 2 3 months. So it was like that. So write it and learn. Right, if you need some help on the websites, I can give you some of the websites, like Plural site is good, Udemy, Plural, I'll just write it, Plural site is good, any technology, Udemy courses are good. Just learn, finish something, and then move on to next. Don't leave anything. And suppose I've seen friends like, you are learning Python, someone came and said, okay, no, Python is not required, it's not, you left it halfway, and then you basically start. Don't listen to all this, right? If you're learning, it's fine. Nah, and if it's not useful, cool, I will learn, and but then I will move to something else, basically, right? So yeah, that's the thing, basically.
So when would be actually a good time, sir, to start learning full stack engineering as an ECE student?
Yeah. So I tell you, there is no good time. I'll tell you one example actually. So my classmates, right? I came back to home, okay, and 2 years back, and then I had my classmates who were also 2016 pass out, okay. So since last 5 years at my hometown, they were sitting idle. I'm telling you a real story, like total honest. Like if you want to believe, you can believe. If you believe also, it's fine, okay. So then they were 2016 pass out. Since last 5 years, they were not doing anything, okay. Last year, October 2020, I started teaching them React and JavaScript and SQL. 3 months every day morning, 7 to 8, they used to come to me. I used to teach them SQL, React fully, and then I told them how to create a resume and how to apply for jobs and all. October 2020, I started, and just now, I tell you, like January, January last week, both of them they got job offers of 4.1 got 4.5 lakh, one got 5 lakh. It's a starting, but you can understand, right? 2016
Yeah.
pass out, 5 years not doing anything, right? And they now, but the good point was that when they used to come to learn, they used to come every day, and they really wanted now job, like they wanted job so badly. Their parents were pressurizing them, and that made them work hard, and they landed a job. So there is no right time. You can see with these guys, right? So whenever you want to study, you will learn, and they both of them got last. One guy joined this Monday, the other guy got a 5 lakh offer, and he joined last Monday, right? So you can say after graduating, staying out of touch for 5 years, also they were able to study, and that's how the job is there in IT, basically. You just need to learn and know one thing. In the starting, try to master one skill. And then once you do that, then learn something else.
Yes. So
Yes, sir, great,
yeah.
great to hear you answer it with a real life example, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what, even if you pass out also, you can study for 6 months and get a job. So that's what I'm telling, right? There's no right time.
Hmm.
So
And
thank
right
you for
now,
patiently answering our questions, sir.
yeah,
And
and right now they started with 4.5. 2 years down the line, they will switch to 9 lakh. Then 4 years down the line, they will make 15 lakhs. Right? The starting should be there. Doesn't matter if starting is less or starting is more.
so I guess that's the end of the questions for today.
Cool.
So with this, we reached the end of the session. Thanks a lot, sir, for taking time out of your schedule and to be here with us and enlightening us. I'm sure that a lot of students will benefit from this. This is Aditya and Abhinandan signing off. Have a good day and thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
guys. No problem.